Downtown Nashville, Tennessee. This is different, Wes.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice.
Yeah.
I like last year in Atlanta.
That was nice.
I just always will prefer Birmingham. I just think.
Uva.
Yeah. Especially next year. Got to go to Dallas.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like Texas won already. You
know what?
Texas.
We didn't even go to Dallas when A&M came in, so there's a lot.
Well, we always stayed in Hoover, and then now everything's being bid out to the highest bidder, I imagine.
Yes, it is.
No, this is nice. Nashville, I love the town.
Yeah.
Actually,
boy, does it look different. If you haven't been to Nashville in a couple of years, you're going to look at downtown and go, what did they do to Nashville?
Well, yeah.
They're going up. They're going north.
Yeah. So Huntsville's very nice and
Yes.
growing, but you get here and you're like, you don't recognize anything.
Yeah.
Plus, all the streets downtown closed. So, but they are, we parked at another hotel and they drove us here.
We've got a crane right behind us, followed by another crane right behind that crane.
But, it's good to be in Nashville. Looking forward to tonight after the show. They're having a deal for us at the stadium with the Predators, of all things. The Nashville Predators are having a thing for us at the stadium, so we're looking forward to going to that.
Well, of course,
the
big news here local is DeAndre Hopkins signing with the Tennessee Titans. So, honestly, half of Radio Row down here is Nashville, and they've already told me that their talk topics ain't about SEC Media Days on SEC Radio Row.
So what's interesting to me, I haven't been to as many Media Days as you have. I did go to the first one.
Yes, you did.
As a player.
Yes, you did.
That was a long time ago. But you look at what's going on, and there's a lot of new faces. You don't see the same faces we saw in Atlanta last year.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah.
There's some of the same old guys we've been knowing forever, but everybody else looks like there's a lot of change going on in the radio business.
By the way, at least 34 different tables are set up. Not everyone is filled up at the moment. And there's, I'm starting to notice more and more podcasts are getting Radio Row tables. And I think this year is the most that I've seen of 4 different podcasts.
There's 4, but how many other? There's 4,000.
Oh, gosh. There's a ton of them out there.
So, yeah.
So that is something else that I've noticed.
Most of them are as good as what you pay for.
Greg Sankey met with the media earlier today. I thought he had a couple of interesting things to say. Sports gambling in particular. Here is what the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference had to say. This is part of his opening statement from earlier today.
One final policy note relates to legalized sports gambling. This spring, our conference was touched by an apparent element of conduct that calls into question the integrity of competition or the individuals involved in that competition. And we're not alone. As participants from other conferences, some faced accountability for involvement in sports wagering activity. There are now 38 states with some form of legalized sports gambling. States now realize directly into their treasury the proceeds, either from licensing fees or taxation of that legalized gambling activity. In some states, it's relatively low, a few million or a few tens of millions relative to the state budgets. At least one state realized over $1 billion in licensing and tax revenue paid to the state treasury from legalized sports gambling. But here's the reality for us. We continue to hear more and more from our coaches and student athletes about the increased level of abusive and threatening behavior online, often directed at them after someone involved in gambling activity ends up on the wrong side of a score or a game's outcome. In fact, there are members of the media in this room who've reported on some of those realities. The problem can be even worse for game officials, who sometimes are tracked down at their place of business.
That is a little bit of
That's rough.
Commissioner
That's ridiculous.
Sankey.
Listen, you know, you can get mad at the calls, which I do. But you can't go attacking people personally at their businesses. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The internet's when somebody attacks somebody on the internet and doesn't have the intestinal fortitude, I hesitate with that word, to go up and talk to somebody in person if they're so touched. That's what I hate about the internet. You know, that's like the Drew DeArmond thing I always talk about. Drew's all upset this one guy was.
And how many followers does he have?
Only one. It was Drew. He was using Drew as his way to talk to people.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get rid of one. There's no question about that. So I'm at the point where if somebody attacks your place of business and affects you in that kind of way in a false pretense, there ought to be something that person could do, especially if he's an official. I've seen some really bad calls, horrible, that I thought were almost criminal in nature. Some last year, but never in my mind did I ever think that, hey, I'm going to find out where he works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never gone there in my head as well.
I don't know how anybody can. So, anyway, here's Mr. College Football.
Hey, Tony. He's Mr. College Football.
Yeah, is that right? He was on this morning.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was on Tom's show. I listened to him.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, midday, I guess.
That'd be midday.
Yeah.
Well, we have been here a long time already today, here in day one.
Have some good interviews already off the air that we'll play later, I guess, in the week, and maybe some tonight.
That's right.
Some really good interviews. And
I did want to play one other cut from Commissioner Sankey involving NIL, which has been a big topic now here for a couple of years. But he references a bill in the state of California as well. I thought it was interesting.
I think you know there's also been an ongoing effort to deem student athletes as employees of institutions or conferences or the NCAA. I have yet to have a conversation with an engaged, participating student athlete who says they want to be deemed an employee of their institution or the conference. Efforts like those that have happened in California, mandating revenue, create new threats around the support of Olympic and women's sports. The bill that was introduced that has been delayed failed to adequately recognize the existing requirements of Title IX, and we were pleased to see the engagement and the efforts of the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee to share their concerns along with the Women's Sports Foundations. Efforts to simply upend the collegiate model place in jeopardy the opportunities for thousands of student athletes for decades to come. Our current student athletes are accustomed to attending college thanks to athletic scholarships. They benefit from unlimited nutritional support. We're accustomed to providing mental wellness. They have post-eligibility medical care. They have academic support so that they can achieve their academic goals. And our primary objective is to continue these broad-based, widespread opportunities through experiences, friendships, learning opportunities, competitive opportunities that are inherent in the higher education setting and a continuing focus for those of us in college athletics. The reality is, only Congress can fully address the challenges facing college athletics. The NCAA cannot fix all of these issues. The courts cannot resolve all of these issues. The states cannot resolve all of these issues, nor can the conferences. Whether congressional action is achievable is a matter of debate, much debate. But educational opportunity, supporting equitable opportunities for men and for women, ensuring the United States' continued success in the Olympic Games, providing medical care, nutritional support, academic support, mental wellness counseling. These are nonpartisan issues.
That is Commissioner Greg Sankey.
Well, that's where he's going to be wrong. Democrats want the there's a bill coming Wednesday. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of the announcement here, depending on what the timing is. It's a bipartisan bill. However, to get the Democrats want everything to be unionized because that's where they get a lot of their donations from. And we need to throw this out the window and fix college football. The donations, they can get the donations the same ones they're getting now. They doesn't have to be from college, union on college athletics. Because as you heard, the Title IX, they won't be able to do the union anyway. Yeah. So I think this is going to have to, the pressure is going to have to be put on. Well, let's see what the bill is for. I might not even like the bill, I don't know. Yeah. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't know what's in the bill, but there is a bill coming out. It's scheduled to be announced Wednesday. We'll know about it, more about it in the next couple of days.
We shall see. There was one question in particular in the Q&A that was a resounding no from Commissioner Greg Sankey. What was the question?
I heard earlier you stated about extending the agreement in Atlanta, but with the new stadium, Dome Stadium, going up here in 4 years, are there any thoughts of bringing the championship or an annual game on the football field to Nashville outside of the bowl game?
We are going to focus our football game on what is really the envy of the college football championship world, and that's what we do in Atlanta. So that's where our focus is for that particular championship. We obviously have what is and will be a long-standing relationship with Bridgestone Arena and basketball. And one of my favorite books is titled The Art of Possibility. And what Nashville's doing is opens up the art of possibility here around football opportunities, basketball opportunities on a national scale. Those are very much on my mind. In fact, I've communicated that locally on repeated occasions.
So that is Commissioner Greg Sankey there on Atlanta being your football home for the SEC football championship game. Makes a lot of sense, but did not completely close the door, say 10 years down the road.
I don't think they're ever closed the door.
I think the immediate
you can't. You got to have a little negotiating. But he also, I was told earlier that they were going to keep the basketball game in Nashville.
Yes.
But that's not what he said. He just said that they appreciate what Nashville's doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it'll actually stay here every year. But I don't know what the
the basketball agreement is through 32.
So
the basketball tournament is staying put right here for a while. I don't know the football contract. I want to say they just renewed it. Right after COVID.
Yes, sounds like it.
So the SEC football championship game not moving anytime soon, even though it has moved before from Birmingham to Atlanta. Today's teams that were featured opening up with Texas A&M, LSU, and Missouri. They have already gone through. Had a chance to ask Jimbo Fisher the following question earlier today in the main media room.
During the spring meetings, there was the subject of tampering. And I wanted to ask about tampering. How big of an issue is it, and what are some answers you think surrounding tampering?
I think if people tamper, they have to be caught. But again, it goes back to you have to prove those things too, and it can't be just allegations or rumors. I think you have concrete evidence, and you try not to. And people say, well, how do you deal with that? I think you got to keep an open line of communication with your players. You got to keep a great open line of communication with things that are going on with them and things that are happening with them, and being able to talk with them. And if you catch them, you got to punish them. You got to punish them severely, in my opinion, when you get into those things. And that's unfortunately that's a part of college football that is becoming a bigger issue because you don't have to sit now with the transfer portal. So those things are out there. But listen, everybody's dealing with them. That's the nature. We navigate it, work with it, communicate, keep an open line, and try to do the best we can.
That is Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, again, tampering. So tampering, it's not going away. it's impossible to say somebody's tampering when what's happening is you have parents, uncles, cousins, high school coaches always approaching these kids, trying to get them to move so they can get a piece of the action.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on. And so a lot of times the school won't be tampering with him. His own family, his high school coaches, his whatever, they call a school and said, hey, would you be interested if this guy transferred? Well, yeah, that's not tampering. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What were they supposed to say? No? Well, yeah, they'll say no if they mean no. But that's what's going on, so there's no way to stop it. It's impossible. The tampering thing is impossible to stop unless you do something where NIL has to be given before when you get there. After a certain period of time, you're there. You know, and NIL is really NIL.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a bonus, signing bonus.
Yeah.
Which is what basically it is now.
So Texas A&M was 5-7 last year. This just in. For those that may misremember, didn't go bowling last year. Drudy Armon asked the following question to his beloved Dirt Neck earlier today.
Straight ahead.
Coach Fisher, Drudy Armon, WZZN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. You've been a head coach in Power 5 for over a decade.
Mm-hmm.
You've won championships. Every year, chemistry is different on a football team. There's high expectations at A&M. You didn't meet them last year.
Yep.
As a staff, when you guys self-assessed, what do you do this year to kind of make sure the chemistry is different and that this football team meets expectations?
Well, just what I was talking about earlier, it's a great question, it really is, because you talk about coaches can want all they want. Players got to manage a team and run it on a day-to-day basis, and I think it gets into your leadership of your team, and not just leading guys, but how they can get guys to understand why it's important to do all the little things. Do you go to class? Do you go to study hall? You're practicing hard all the time, trying to find those inches, and I think the leadership of your football team is the key. I think the open line of communication, that's what's got me excited about this year. I love the leadership of our football team, and there's quite a few number of guys that have done it. And I think a lot of guys coming back for fourth and fifth years, which you don't have a lot. Some guys got banged up and came back for those situations that are doing a great job of setting examples of what things are doing. And we're around when we went to the Orange Bowl and won the Orange Bowl. We're number 4 team in the country. Had a chance to be in the playoff, all that. Guys that were on that team are productive in that team. And I think that part of it has me excited. I think that's a key to it. It's just not what we say and how we do. We can adjust scheme, we can adjust that, but how they practice, how they go about things, how they do everything, and all the little things they do away from ball on their own time, whether they're 7-on-7s, whether they're walkthroughs, all those types of things, and the film watching, all those, that those guys can lead and do that have, I think that's the difference in your great teams and your average teams, and I think that creates within the culture, and I think we got a really good leadership group coming back. Getting McKinley come back, getting Anais come back, getting Max Wright to come back. There's a ton of guys in that group that came back. Layden Robinson's a huge one up front. All those guys, and I think it makes a big difference, and I think that's what's got me excited about it.
That is Jimbo Fisher. If we only had someone here along Radio Row that could give us a deeper dive into Aggie football. Billy Lucci joins us from Texas. How are you, sir?
Busy today, so hopefully, when you go that day one with the team you cover, you just kind of get thrown right in. So
we've never had Bama day one.
We haven't, have we?
No, we haven't.
No, that's right. And A&M, for whatever reason, had a stretch of going like day 4 for a while. I feel like these last 2 years they've been earlier than later, I think.
How do they do that anyway?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
Lottery?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think so.
knows?
Because Alabama's always on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's true. They definitely don't put Bama first for a reason. I'm looking forward to hearing that. But, no, today's been fun. And I think Jimbo, he came in and did a good job.
I do too.
I'm going to hear y'all's thoughts on that. And my thought was, and I mentioned this to him because I just feel his excitement and his energy towards it right now. I think he believes he's a really good team. And my advice, whether he cared or not, just in talking, it wasn't. Right. It was just like, make sure you go in there and everybody kind of feels that same way when you're done. But everybody knows that A&M's still a very, very talented roster.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you go up there and be honest, which the honest part is that he's excited about it, then people will go, you might change an opinion or two to go, man, after hearing him and knowing the players they've got, I kind of want to put a little asterisk by the Aggies this year.
Right.
And I think he did a good job of conveying that.
My opinion is it doesn't matter what these people think.
That is so true. Right. But what else are we even here for?
Well, I think to bring the excitement to the game, to listen what he does have to say, how he does propose to turn around. I predicted that Texas A&M wouldn't be very good last year. Mm-hmm. I said this year was their year. I think they have a chance to be really good. Always breaking in the quarterback is like a box of chocolates. I don't care how good they say they are.
Especially when you do it behind an inexperienced O-line, too.
Yeah, and because you never know how people react when they get hit. I've seen 2 quarterbacks ever like getting hit. One of them was Brett Favre. I think people would have been better off not hitting him.
Yeah.
Just, he
like
played better, yeah. Yeah, exactly right, Rocky. Anyway, so most quarterbacks don't like to get hit, and you never know what's going to happen when they do.
Yeah.
And that's why, in my opinion, when you look at these quarterbacks and you see the guys with experience, that's what I'm buying, right?
True.
So it's going to be interesting to see how Texas A&M does. Interesting to him talking about the center. He thinks centers can make a huge difference. Not much in the NFL, but in college football, they can make a big difference. They really can. And if you get a guy in there with inexperience, it only takes 1 or 2 plays to bust, the offensive line bust, to cause you to lose a game.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much in the wrong time frame.
Not to mention to shake up that quarterback if it happens early.
Yeah, and that absolutely, especially if you got a guy like Texas A&M's big victory against LSU. LSU goes in there, their quarterback's banged up, can't even move in that game.
Yeah.
Not to say that, not trying to take anything away from Texas A&M. Just give that example. Texas A&M went through. I think they have a winning season if Johnson doesn't get hurt. Yeah, he was playing good when he got hurt. He
kind of righted the ship. Yeah.
But anyway, my biggest question is who will be the starting quarterback, and
everybody's
why?
talking about Connor. No one's talking about Max.
No,
and they should be talking about Max because it's closer than people think, and for a lot of it for the reason you said, and then also what we saw him do. Look, was he great at LSU? No. I watched him beat A&M and pretty much do it. He beat A&M.
No question.
Nobody else on that LSU team. It sure as heck weren't the tackles that gave up 6 sacks. Max beat A&M that night.
And everybody else trying to lay down around him, except one receiver.
He almost beat Bama, and that was, the LSU offense wasn't great that night, but he almost kind of just gritted that one out. Yeah. He beat Florida twice. He's beaten Auburn. This is all at LSU. And then he beat Arkansas and Miami last year when A&M was at rock bottom. Mm-hmm. Who do I think? I think Connor. And I think Connor's upside, his playmaking ability, his difficulty in defending him. And the biggest thing I think is this. They can both make things happen with their legs too, by the way. But it's Connor's just kind of feel for not taking, kind of stepping up out of pressure, feeling that pressure and just kind of knowing when to elude it. And the second part of that is when he does that, he has this kind of uncanny knack for finding the open receiver off schedule and getting rid of the football quickly and accurately. That is, and he also, 8 touchdowns, no turnovers last year and 4 starts. There is something about him, but here's the thing. He has to win the job in front of Jimbo, Petrino, and the team, and I don't think that necessarily happened in the spring. I think they were pretty even. Right. So it could go either way. I think if we're sitting here talking towards the end of fall camp, I think we're talking about Connor claiming that job.
So 2 years ago, everything we heard, Haynes King, special player, so fast, this is that. What happened to Haynes King?
It's good. That's a great question, and I think part of it was this. I think Haynes is so smart. He knew the offense backwards, forwards within a month. Jimbo always says faster than any quarterback he's ever had. And in some ways that's the way to Jimbo's heart as a QB is. I know he's going to do this. I know he makes the right decision. He did all the time in practice. When the game happened, maybe not so much.
Got hit.
He got hit a lot, though, too. He got hit a lot.
So that changes
it's
the quarterback.
David Carr syndrome, right, with the Texans.
Right.
He got hit a lot, and he got hit a lot. Or, hell, he broke a leg in his second start and his second possession. So I think that had a lot to do with it. I think him going and getting a fresh start here at Georgia Tech is going to be great for him. But I also think one of the things he struggled with was he didn't run a whole lot. He didn't take advantage and take off with those legs. And he, much was made about the wind-up and the throwing motion made it slower, but he also just wouldn't pull the trigger a lot in live game action on there it is, get rid of it, throw it.
Yeah.
And, you combine that with bad O-line play, which is what they had last year. It's a bad combo, and it's why I didn't think they were going to be 5-7. I thought they would be like 9-3, but it's why I thought A&M at number 6 preseason was too high. You had virtually no experience at quarterback with your starter. Max had some, but he'd also never been. You had no experience at QB. Your offensive line was
bad
pretty
combination.
Dang new.
Bad combination.
And they're sitting there playing 17 and 18-year-olds across the D-line. You're going to do that in the Southeastern Conference and go 6-2 in that league? No way. So, did I think they were going to do what they did? No, and they shouldn't have. It's still, but they also.
Well, they had some good games they lost, but they had some bad games, really bad games.
Yeah. Well,
Florida game.
Well, and in the Florida game, to Haynes' credit, that dude was pummeled last year physically, shoulder, knee. He broke his foot on the final play he ran in the first half against Florida. It was 24-24. He played the rest of that game on a broken foot.
Hard to do.
He tore his, or whatever it was with his, labrum in his shoulder and tried to keep playing at South Carolina. They finally had to yank him out because his shoulder was hanging off. So he got demolished in that Bama game and finished that game out and almost won it.
Yeah.
That kid, all the love in the world for that kid, all the praise in the world. But he was beat up. And A&M played, they went through 3 QBs last year. And a lot of that was the offensive line has got to be better. And to me, that's what Jimbo, and I've talked to Adazio, talked to the players. They returned like 8 guys that started games, including 4 full-timers. If that's not one of the more improved units, not only on A&M, it has a chance to be one of the most improved units in the SEC. Because they got some NFL dudes up front. And some of them have played really well at different times. They just hadn't all done it together. Right. So the job Steve Adazio does is going to have a direct impact on how good Connor Wigman or Max Johnson can be and how far this team can go.
I had a coach one time say, you can have all the talent in the world. If they're real fast, they go the wrong way. They're just that much further out of the play.
Yeah. Hopefully,
your offensive line has to be in sync because it's a little thing. I mean, you're talking about just little. Like you step to the left and I don't step to the left. There's a gap there. Yeah. They go, and the good ones always find the gap.
Yeah, right. And you say that about the O-line, and I'm sitting here as you said it going, that's the defense too.
Oh, yeah.
Year 2 under DJ Durkin, you saw him in this same league, in this same division. They made a massive jump at Ole Miss from year 1 to year 2. It's pretty much what got him the job here. They've got to make that same kind of jump. They were all right, at times defensively. They had some nice games. LSU went really well. Bama, and look, I know that it wasn't Bryce Young, and but the reality is, you're in the SEC. I'm sorry that Bama lost their quarterback for a week. A&M should have taken advantage. They had a chance to. Milroe with 4 turnovers. But the Aggies went through 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the league. Welcome to it. Jaden Daniels is hurt, then you need to win.
Exactly.
But defensively, they had some nice games. But, you look at, the Ole Miss game went really bad for them. Mississippi State went really bad for them. So they were inconsistent, especially stopping the run. That's the unit that I could see that's going to have the spotlight on it. Is that defense. All the talks about Petrino and the offense. Mm-hmm. The defense has play. If they can stay healthy at linebacker and corner, there's not a lot of depth either. But, man, the starting 11 they're going to put out there
will be the real deal.
Real deal, and the highest end talent. I mean, the safeties are loaded with 5 stars and proven guys. The D-line loaded with 5 stars and proven guys. Edgerrin Cooper's good. Tyreek Chappelle's good at corner. They should be damn good on defense. If they're not, then you have to wonder why they're not.
Yeah, they got a good defensive coordinator, too, in my opinion.
I think so, too.
On the subject of pressure, how much pressure is on Jimbo this year?
I think a lot, but not. I think the pressure is he's coming off 5 and 7, and we're going into year 6. I don't think it's job pressure.
I think it's
unless
pressure
the bottom
he's putting on
falls
himself.
out.
I think he's embarrassed about last year.
I agree.
I think the pressure's on himself. Mm-hmm. Now, whether there'll be enough credit to go around if they start winning, we'll see. That's what I'm going to wonder, right? When everybody starts praising the new offense and Petrino.
Those interviews will be fun.
They will be fun.
Well, because what they're going to do is they don't understand, like, man, Jimbo's not going to give you an inch. So when they all start asking him to praise Petrino, he's going to do it, and then he's going to say it's the whole staff. And then people are going to turn that into, well, you don't want to give him credit. No, it's just the guy. It's who he is.
It is the whole staff, though.
Yeah.
It's how the staff meshes, how the players mesh with the staff, how they get their message. I mean, everybody assumes. I mean, when you like they're talking about, we're working 44 weeks every day for 44 weeks.
Yep.
And these meetings last forever.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll go in there for 5 hours and meet. You don't think you have your time to say something?
Exactly.
It's not one person. It's the whole thing.
Underrated addition nobody's talking about. And just recently people have started talking. I heard our local media start asking about it. I'm like, you guys, I've been writing about this dude for 6 months, and now you're at SEC Media Days. You're at Jim Chaney. A&M doesn't really promote the analyst hires, and I wrote about it, and I tweeted it, and it's completely fluent. They got an analyst that's been an OC at Georgia, Tennessee, Arkansas, Purdue under Joe Tiller, and by all accounts, and I met him 20 years ago, just a great dude to work with and to have in your room. That guy in those 5-hour meetings, it's not just Petrino.
Oh, yeah.
It's Petrino, Jimbo, Chaney. James Coley's been an OC at Georgia and Miami. Adazio's been a head coach at 3 spots. They have a lot of brain power in that room.
A lot of experience. Well, what do you think? Look at who's been at Alabama that where Jim Chaney was their head coaches in the Southeastern Conference now.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Where have been head coaches.
Yeah.
That the analysts make a huge difference because right now there's an analyst in in another week there'll be an analyst breaking down games that start
in
the Auburn game.
Yeah.
They'll be breaking down Auburn film, who they got, and that goes on every week. And those are the guys that are in charge of it, trying to find an angle on plays to run right now.
Yep. And
that'll change.
I'd
over
rather
time
be
now.
him than some young guy that
well, he has 2 or 3 young guys working with him.
That too.
Yeah, that are doing the and tell them I want to know first and 10 every play they run in.
Yeah.
In the red zone.
I love it.
Right. I mean, that's what they push a button. It all comes up.
Finally, Billy, when I think of memorable moments at SEC Media Days, I think of the announcement that Texas and Oklahoma came in, and the look on Ross Bjork's face when we were in Hoover. It's like someone stole candy out of his bag during Halloween.
Yeah.
What has the reaction been, Aggie Nation, about the Longhorns coming in?
I think now they're like, come on. We're tired of listening to your crap. Like, these people, and I have my sister's a Longhorn. I have so many friends, even on social media, where we just go back and forth.
So who better to ask?
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you, ISA is these people, man. They think that the SEC, they're laughing because the meetings are in Dallas, and they're going, we 1 year and they're already doing this for us, and they never did it for A&M. Well, yeah, because they were in Hoover every year for A&M, but now they're moving them around. It's like, are they doing Vandy a favor by having them here in Nashville? No. Are they doing
last time
are they doing LSU a disservice?
It's closer to Dallas than Austin.
It's true. It is true, by about 30 minutes. You're right. because I make that dang drive every week. But if you're sitting there going, oh, yeah, they're giving Texas preferential treatment over LSU because it hadn't been in New Orleans yet. It's so ridiculous, and they think they're going to come in and just run through the league because they played Bama close. Well, here's what they don't get. They claim A&M moral victory every time they'll call A&M's win over LSU a moral victory because the Aggies went 5-7. No, they beat LSU by 3 scores. There's nothing moral about that. That was a physical beatdown. A&M 2 years ago beat Alabama. There's no moral victory in that. They're one of the few teams that beat them twice since they've joined the league. I think there's 2 others. It's funny to listen to them, though, when the ultimate moral victory was that they almost beat Bama in Austin last year. And guess what? This is what they don't get. That doesn't mean you're ready for this. I've stood there and watched games
every week.
Every week. Go to Mississippi State and Starkville instead of Ames, Iowa. Go play at Auburn on a week when you're otherwise going to, play West Virginia.
At night.
Go play Auburn. And here's the crazy part, though. What they don't understand about Bama just wins. But in the last 2 years, you guys know this better than me. I think there might be 10 games that they either lost or came down to a final possession or 2. A lot of people play Bama close. The key is beating them. And even if you do beat them, like A&M did a couple years ago, well, guess what? They lost to Arkansas. They lost to Mississippi State. They lost to Ole Miss on the road, and they lost to LSU on the road. It's a whole different animal. They're going to realize it, but I think the more rude awakening is going to be what happens in Norman, because I do think Sark is doing a better job of recruiting and preparing a roster for this league than
because he's been
Venables.
in it.
Exactly. And Flood's been in it.
Right.
And Banks has been in it. And Bo Davis has been in it.
Bo Davis is, in my opinion, one of the best defensive line coaches in the.
He's great. Yeah. Terry Joseph's been in it at A&M actually, so they get it. I don't think Venables and company up there are doing near the job that Texas is doing in terms of ramping up and preparing.
Billy, thank you so much for hopping on with us.
Enjoyed it, Billy.
Appreciate it.
Billy Lucci. We need to take our first time out live here on Radio Row, SEC Media Days.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road.
Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I have a relatively short segment here, all things considered. We're not going to go 40 minutes in this segment, just FYI, as day one of SEC Media Days. Billy Lucci very optimistic about those Aggies, who start out a home game against New Mexico, then travel to Miami right out of the gate, but then 1-2 home games. In fact, they'll play 3 out of the next 4 at home after that trip to Miami. But the back end, a road trip to LSU as well. It does feel like there is more experience on this team. This was the team everybody fell in love with last year. You didn't, Wes. But,
well, they're going by recruiting classes, that's why.
But nobody's really talking about Max Johnson. It's Connor Wegman.
I think Max Johnson will end up being the guy.
Do you?
Because I think he knows how to win. We'll see how this guy does. You know, the best guy is always the youngest guy that's never played, right?
Backup quarterback
always,
with the clipboard,
number 2,
right?
Yeah, no question. He's the one that should be starting on every team. Always the second-string guy, best guy on the team.
By the way, we are going to close out this show today by playing a portion of what Greg Sankey had to say to start off the Media Days event earlier today. Just in case you were at work and just did not hear it, it's worth listening to. There's always some stuff in there to pay attention to from the commissioner. Nuggets, if you will. And I thought it was interesting of what he said about tying in Olympic sports.
Well,
and I know it's a big deal, but it's not talked about enough.
Well, yeah, because they're all losing money. I mean, so if they take half the revenue, they wouldn't be able to have the sports. So, I mean, it's you know, it's a lot of people. There are a lot of winners other than football players if they go to revenue, because it's not their revenue.
Yeah.
There are people not talking about taking money from their pocket. They're talking about taking money from other people's pocket, and the union then gets the whole control of the money. And that's what this is about. It started in California. Now it's going to make its way to Washington. That would not be good for college football.
So, Brian Kelly,
or any other sports, by the way.
Brian Kelly, he was the first head coach right after Greg Sankey, and there is a different way that Nashville is introducing coaches. And I don't know if you heard it,
I did not
saw it, but it has happened. One thing that surprised me a little bit, it's the first time I've noticed it. Last week at Big 12 Media Days, cheerleaders were cheering while the fight song was playing in front of media members. That was just weird to me. That didn't happen here. Okay, that didn't happen here.
So that went over like a lead balloon, it sounds like last year. Yeah.
But I tell you what, let's go ahead and take our final timeout. I will play for you the introduction of Brian Kelly on the other side as we're live here at SEC Media Days.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Lugan here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Ann Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road.
Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or
WoodyAndersonFord.com.
selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find him online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3, 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Back here on Radio Row, This hour brought to you by our good friends over at Woody Anderson Ford, and that is just one of our many sponsors that allow us to be here in Music City, as we want to thank certainly Bob Wallace Appliance, as well as Berkshire Hathaway and Adams. And there is just really appreciate everybody's support for allowing us to be here, Wes.
No doubt. Thanks to everyone. Ann has been a long-term sponsor and really knows a lot about real estate. And if you're looking to sell your house or looking for a house, she'll help you navigate the waters, no doubt.
And as well, Bob Wallace Appliance. It's never too early to start thinking about getting the kitchen ready for the holidays.
So I got a drop ice machine.
Yeah.
The Sonic Ice.
Drop ice. Did you really? I've been wanting one of those.
Man, I would highly recommend that. Highly. Takes water to a new level. Or whatever else you might be mixing.
Chapman Commercial Realty as well. Big thank you.
A long time. Of course, been in Huntsville commercial real estate.
6 generations.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yes. Had some sad news. His grandmother just passed away.
No.
I think she she was either right at the century mark or went over the century mark.
Wow.
Yeah, but what a great person she was, and she'll be sorely missed, but what a great life.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to find out once and for all whether or not we can get Wes Neighbors on the playoff committee. We've been working on it and working on it and working on it.
He's going to do it. I feel like he must do it.
Especially after the entire main media room gave him, it wasn't a standing ovation because the media would have to stand up for that. But they were a significant number of media members clapping for Bill Hancock and his investment in college football and what he's done. So right after Greg Sankey, here is the intro for one Brian Kelly, the LSU head football coach.
LSU.
Pleasure to be back here talking football here at SEC Media Day. I'm getting used to this, as you know, for many years.
So, yes, they were kind of drowning him out a little bit with the Fighting Tigers band.
So they needed. Last year they had the cheerleaders. They need to bring the dance team this year.
The dance
team should have been there doing.
Well, Big 12 had the cheerleaders, so.
So that, yes. Well, I was going to talk to him. He just said,
I know.
But he doesn't have to
we need to talk to him in about 10 minutes.
Okay, I got you.
Well, but feel free to stick around. But LSU, I feel like, is a team that is another team that this is the team this year's Texas A&M, at least here at Media Days. Everyone is falling in love with LSU.
Well, I think for better reasons than they did for Texas A&M, because it's hard to win championship with freshmen. And they had an unproven quarterback and then he got hurt, and then the next one got hurt, and that's a disaster. I think LSU probably overall has 2 quarterbacks that they can win with.
That's fair.
I just don't think they have the other pieces. I don't think they have all the pieces you'll need to be able to go through the Southeastern Conference undefeated and win the West and then win the conference. I don't think they have it. I think that it will happen while he's there, though.
Do you?
Yes. I mean, all you have to do is circle Louisiana and recruit Louisiana. You're there. And I think he's doing that. I think he's caused, you hear the excitement, you hear everything going on. And I've been around that program. They have, once they get everybody in the right place, everybody pulling the same way, It's a very powerful thing.
Here's a little bit of Brian Kelly in the main media room earlier today.
You know, it helps LSU.
Yeah. So I think whatever answer I give you, there's going to be holes in it because there is not much regulation. I think that the easiest answer to that question, and I'm not going to be political up here, we do want to control what we can control. But I would say that the thing that makes it difficult for us, all of us, is third-party involvement. And at what level does that third-party involvement influence the spirit of name, image, and likeness? I think that's where we're all at. If there are different laws too in each state, then the league is not balanced, either. So to me, those would be the two kind of bullet points as it relates to NIL. I'm not here to fix it. I'm here to navigate it. And if I can lend my experience in any shape or fashion, I will do that. But I can tell you what we're living, and that's third-party involvement and different rules of engagement by different states.
Okay, Coach, we'll go to this middle section on the right on the aisle, just standing right in the middle, about 3/4 of the way back.
Yeah, Coach Brooks Austin with Dogs Daily. You talked about year 2 and the progression as a football program. I'm interested what the progression for Jaden Daniels has been like in year 2, and what did you learn about just his toughness quality from playing through injuries towards the end of the year, particularly against Georgia in that SEC championship game?
Yeah, good questions, and I think that they were all part of our learning curve with him, quite frankly, because we knew Jaden as a person, but we really didn't know him much as a football player, and how would he respond in really a new system of offense, where he had to make really a 180 in terms of what he was asked to do. So what does development look like for him? I think it would be the natural progression from the last game in which he played, where he was aggressive, but he was under control. He ran the ball when he needed to, but yet stepped up in the pocket and made the tight window throws. I think that was the progression from what we saw in the first week, where a step up in the pocket meant step up and run, or not making those tight window throws. And I think that's what we saw during the year, was his natural progression of understanding the offense and being more confident. We want to see that in year 2. We want to see that confidence that we saw at the end of the year continue to show itself right through the first game against Florida State.
That is a little bit of Brian Kelly earlier today. Once and for all, we're going to find out on the other side of this SportsCenter timeout whether or not we can get you on the playoff committee.
He's going to put me on there. It's the last thing he's going to do.
It's his swan song, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the best thing he's going to do. Is the last thing.
He was given a seated ovation, not a standing ovation, but a seated ovation. Well-deserved, I might add.
Absolutely.
Bill Hancock is going to join us next right here live on Radio Row. We'll be back.
You're listening. You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Ann Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road.
Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on BHHSRiseRealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance, to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Back here with you. It is day one of Radio Row here at SEC Media Days. And along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you, as well as the executive director of the College Football Playoff. What's new, Bill? Bill Hancock joins us.
Well, it's great to see you guys. We always have fun doing this.
No
yes,
question.
We do. Yes, we do.
So I've been telling everybody your last thing you're going to do is put me on the committee because you just know it's the right thing to do. It might be the best thing you do for the committee, too, ever.
Wes, all you have to do, as I've been telling you for about 10 years, is just quit the radio.
I know it.
He's waiting for the first to happen. This is actually our 10-year anniversary.
Right.
Of
I came to the first media days as a player.
As a player?
When they stopped the Skyrider tour. It was in Birmingham, yeah. Downtown Birmingham.
How was it? Was it okay for you as a player?
Yeah, it was me and John Hand and Coach Perkins picked us up at the dorm. And he just told us a couple days before, hey, it was a couple days before practice. It was at a different time, it felt like. It felt like it was in August. It wasn't in July. I don't feel. Maybe the end of July. I don't know. I just remember it was right before camp. And we drove to Birmingham, and, we really didn't know what to expect. And, yeah, they gave us a table. You had a table, and then all the riders were around you asking you questions.
Did you think, I don't want to go do that? That's stupid.
No. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool because Coach Perkins got to take us.
Just the three of you in the car?
Just the three of us, yeah. It was interesting. I always liked Coach Perkins. I mean, I liked him a lot. Didn't always agree with his way of doing things, but wasn't for, I followed him no matter what. I thought we got really conservative on offense. I think we could have been.
I forgot who your quarterback was.
It's Mike Sheila.
Oh, yeah.
The last 2 years. He was hurt our senior year, but we We got beat by Penn State, and Penn State won it that year. In Tuscaloosa, we had a bad game, no question. The only time I felt like, when you go back and watch the film, I think we got beat 20-3. But you go back and watch the film, we called a reverse. It's a touchdown. They don't hand it off. Just a lot of plays. Just doesn't take many plays in the game.
Doesn't take many. 2 or 3 plays in the game.
In the first quarter, we missed a field goal. The first drive, our guy is running for a touchdown, trips over his own feet and fumbles. So, you go back, and that was a great Penn State team. They beat Miami that year. That's the year, yeah. So, I'm doing my interview while we're on there.
I think, I'm finally I get to do what I want to do, which is I get to interview Wes.
Come on. Here we go. I'm going to mute my microphone right.
Wes, were you a good student?
Not as good as I should have been. My last year, I made the dean's list, but yeah.
Was it hard to have time to study and play?
I was just lazy. I was really good. I was blessed with being able to go past most classes. And the ones I knew I had to study, I took in the summer, like statistics, accounting. I was a double major, so yeah.
Did you finish in the 4 years?
No, I was redshirted.
Okay.
My first year, I didn't take many classes that would be eligible to graduate. My schedule was changed for me.
You got help.
I think no, I didn't get help. It hurt me. I took coaching football and coaching basketball in one semester. And what they do with freshmen then, if they thought they were going to play, they'd take you and put you in different classes where you wouldn't be a lot of pressure, and you play in the spring. You do in the spring.
Sure.
So it's gotten bad habits.
That really seriously probably did hurt you.
Yeah, I did, no question. If I'd been in regular classes, I'd have been more in tune, because it's anyway. But you look at college. And my biggest regrets are that I didn't do better in college. I should have made the dean's list every year, But it wasn't important to me then. It's more important to me now. And telling your kids that and getting them, Wesley made that Southeastern Conference, the academic thing every year he was there at Alabama playing. So
wow,
that I'm more proud of that when you see that hanging on his wall than all the. He did get 6 national championship rings. Those count.
Yeah, those kind of count. Steve, were you a good student?
No, I was not.
Where'd you go? Should I withdraw the question?
No. Keep on.
So my first institution I went to decided I should go to another place. So I graduated from Middle Georgia College State University. So I'm at the time they were the Warriors, but I'm now a proud Knight alum. But I needed a little swift kick in the pants right out of high school.
We're late bloomers.
Yeah.
So many of us were that way. I was a great student in high school and college. No, I got a job working in athletic department. I love that. Class, no,
it's
not
like
so much.
Taking coaching football sounds like to me, too.
Well, that's what I was about to ask you. How good of a student were you?
I wasn't. I was really smart, but I didn't apply myself. We took a theory of basketball, and I loved it. I learned so much about the game from that assistant coach that taught the class, but it was a waste of time.
It really.
Anyway,
you were later on that basketball committee.
You pay the same amount of money for those classes as you do statistics.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's exactly right.
So, I don't know why you're wasting your time.
Here's a mistake I made. I graduated in 3.5 years. I was in a hurry. Get me out of school. Let me start working. Well, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Go to school. Enjoy your time in college.
Yeah.
But all I wanted to do was graduate so I could get a job.
So I buckled down when I went to Middle Georgia College State University, and I did graduate in 3.5 years and went right into the workforce. And I was very active. I was also editor of the school newspaper back when there were school newspapers. It just went right into the workforce right after that.
What's a newspaper?
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah, I was editor of my student newspaper also.
Were you?
Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah. Well, it's been great talking to you guys. Thank you for the interviews.
You got any more questions for Wes?
Look, I do want to ask you one thing. Tell us about practicing in the heat in August.
So it's funny you say that. So the other day I went and played with my wife, I was telling you about playing pickleball. And she goes, how can you take this heat? So I don't have a helmet on. That's the way I take it. I just think, man, how hot would it be if I had a helmet on? No, so my dad had a lot of experience, and he'd make us run, but he would suggest we'd run in the heat of the day. And it still doesn't. I mean, I go out in the heat of the day, I just thinking, well, don't have a helmet on, it's not that hot. But, yeah, I can't imagine running gassers now. Right now, they're running gassers every day, getting ready. But they have to be, because you can't be thinking, you can't even have the thought that you're tired in a game. Never ever entered my mind, hey, I'm tired. Then you can't think like that. You got to think, hey, this is the play, this is my job, this is what I have to do. And then if it doesn't go right for whatever reason, you go back and then they're going to call the next play. This is my job. You never can think about being tired. If you think about being tired, you're done.
Good point. Did they let y'all drink water?
Yes. Now, my dad and them, they let them suck on a wet towel and gave them oranges, which probably made them more thirsty. How nobody died then? I guess because they didn't have air conditioning one everywhere, so they weren't used to the air. So they're more more used to the heat. But, like, I'll never forget Jim Goosetree, who was our trainer, talking about how that in Tuscaloosa, it's in a river depression, and it gets hot, really hot. I mean, it's not – in Huntsville where we live, it'd be 9 degrees difference, not counting the humidity. Same at LSU, you're at the practice field, you look up, and there's a ship going by. You're looking up at the ship. I mean, you're practicing underwater, so it's humid. These places, but that's how but going back to Goosetree said it was if the Marines were here, they wouldn't be allowed to practice because it's too hot. And I think that gives Alabama an edge, though, because that gets you used to the heat where you don't have to think about it. I mean, we beat Penn State one time. They played us one time in September in Tuscaloosa, and that was off the table. We played Penn State every year. Our non-conference games my senior year were Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame.
Wow.
So, there's, you play at Florida that year, hottest game I played in. Now, I didn't think about the heat, but I was worried about my shoes melting. Because I saw it happen they had to change 2 or 3 people's shoes because they were melting and coming apart.
Well, that's back in the day, those AstroTurf was painted concrete, basically.
Yes, and it was hot. It was hot that day. But, when you're on the field, you can't think about, like I said, you can't think about, hey, it's hot out here. You got to think about, you don't worry about it. It's just what it is. So, and I still have even out of shape as I am, I go outside and I don't get hot. I mean, I feel, hey, it's hot out here, but it doesn't bother me for whatever reason.
Well, let's talk a little bit about you, sir. What did today?
Good interview, though. We might play it.
Do you think I have a future in the
radio? We're going to swap.
Yeah, this
might be your talk.
This is where I was going to go at the end of the interview.
We need to swap.
Yeah, you're moving to Huntsville.
Yeah, see, everybody loves you, and then they were cussing me.
Yeah. So this is going to be the swap.
Because you only can put 4 teams in. That means there's 99 that don't like you, right? Or how many schools this year are eligible?
131.
131. So you got 127 that don't like you.
What did today mean to you to hear Commissioner Sankey?
Oh, he is so good, isn't he?
He really is.
He is so good. And he's got great ideas. I love what he said about the states having different rules. That's not sustainable. And I don't think any of us ever thought we would be hoping Congress would interfere
They're coming out with a bill Wednesday.
They are. I saw that. Manchin and Tommy.
Tubby.
Yeah. I got to quit calling him Tommy. I got to start calling him Tubby.
Coach.
Bill.
He wants coach.
He wants coach.
Yeah.
But I heard they're coming out with a bill. It's got a long way to go, I'm sure, whatever it is. But we can't. The way we're doing it is with all the states having different rules is not sustainable. For that team on the east sideline to have different rules than our team does on the west sideline, not going to work.
No question.
So what I wish is we had about a dozen Greg Sankeys in charge.
Boy.
We'd get this thing fixed.
No question. Well, the big thing is going to be, as you know, one group's going to want to unionize it. That's going to be the big thing up there. That's going to be the holdup.
If we lose having these kids as players, as college students, we've lost it all. If we let ourselves lose that, we're toast. And you look at the soccer players and the cross-country runners.
That's what'll be toast first.
And that'll be what we'll lose. But those kids are students. They care about education, and I think most of the football and basketball players do too.
They better, because 99% of them, that's where that's what they're going to have to fall back on.
Absolutely. So we can't lose that. So anyway, I love SEC Media Days. Well, I love all the media days. I went to Big 12 last week, and Friday I'm going to Pac-12, and next week American and Big 10. They're all different.
So how are they different? That would be interesting to me.
Well, first of all, SEC is longer. Big 12 is 2 days. Pac-12 is 1 day, I believe. Big 10 is 2 days. SEC has the biggest radio row. I don't know how many they are this year.
34.
34. But Big 12 had a big attendance. Part of that was with 4 new schools.
That was cool, I thought.
That was cool.
16 schools there.
Who has the new schools? Who has, in your opinion, the best chance to be a competitive first year?
Oh, I've learned a long time ago not to let Wes ask me who's going to be any good and who's not.
I heard Steve, Central Florida and Gus Malzahn. So.
But Steve,
that's what I said.
He keeps trying to get me to say.
You got to have an opinion if you're going to be right. I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, we're trying to.
Oh, we're trying to swap.
Yeah.
When we swap, I'm going to have all kinds of opinions. Just you wait.
Boy, that West Neighbors, right?
Can I say I'm West Neighbors when we swap? Or do I have to be Bill Hancock?
I think you got to stay Bill. Either that or you're going to have to eat a little better.
No, that league, I will say this, that league looks wide open to me. It looks like there's several teams that can win that league.
Yeah. Well, heck, look at Kansas State last year. No one was really mentioning them. And
they came from nowhere.
Yeah.
Kansas has a really good quarterback. The conference with the quarterbacks is Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think it's going to be another great season. I love college football, just like y'all.
So you notice he didn't answer the question.
No, he never answered the question.
What did you think of Commissioner Sankey going out of his way to applaud what your contribution has been to the college football game?
If I ever answered the question, Wes would be so mad at me. No. He would never speak to me
That's
again.
not true.
Bill, what's wrong with you?
It was a great moment.
You answered the question. I was totally embarrassed. Totally embarrassed. But it was a nice thing for him to do, a really nice thing for him to do. All you have to do is retire.
And then everybody will start liking you again.
It's like you're going to your own funeral.
I'm never retired.
Well, then you won't
were
ever
just swapping.
But then, Steve, but then he won't ever be on the committee.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, listen, my wife runs a farm. Yeah, I watch those hands work. Now, I'm not about to do that.
We've had terrible hot weather in Dallas, and people are like freaking out about it. And I'm like, guys, it's hot every summer in Dallas.
Yeah, it is.
This just in.
It's exactly the same hot last year and the year before.
Yeah, it's always hot. 1 year it rains. It'll just rain all
1 year.
Yeah, 1 year.
1 year it rains.
10, yeah.
That's exactly right.
So now we're talking about the weather. See, he does this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So what has changed from the beginning as far as how you evaluate everything to now? Has it changed some?
Not very much. One of many things we got right at the start was setting up the way the teams are evaluated. And I keep mentioning to y'all about our mock selection exercises and inviting you to come. I know it costs a little money to fly out to Dallas, but one or both of you would really enjoy that. But the protocol's the same. The way the committee creates small groups of teams hasn't changed. The way we're doing it works. I had a guy last year during the season a reporter said, you know what you ought to do? You ought to get computer rankings to decide this. And I'm like,
what a novel idea.
Where have you been? Were you not alive during the BCS time? Which everybody hated.
Well,
not everybody, but because it was computer rankings. This system with the 13 football people is the best system ever devised to rank teams.
So when you look at, you do look at the computers, the rankings, right?
No, we don't.
You don't at all?
Nope, we don't. We look at data compiled by computers, stats, but we don't look at the computer rankings. We don't. Because which one would you look at?
Oh, I know who I look at.
Who do you look at?
How do you say it? Sagarin?
Sagarin.
Yeah. I like him.
Yeah, I like him. Have y'all ever had him on? I'm sure you have.
We have not.
You should get him on. He's a great talker. You'd have to shut him up, though.
That's all right.
Jeff,
we're good with that. We're good with that.
And Jeff would answer your questions. Jeff's a good man. He's really smart. He loves what he does.
Was that kind of hint that you're not?
I can't. I don't have anything to say. But you let me know, Steve, and I'll give you his number.
Yeah, we love to have him.
Please.
Yeah, he'd be great.
He was part of the.
He was one of our six.
One of the six, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the guys never gave us their formulas, so we didn't know how they were doing it. I mean, we trusted them. Well, that's not really true. They gave the formulas to me, but it was so complicated it was over my head. But we trusted them. We thought they did a nice job, but people did not like it at all because they didn't understand the formulas. So the way we're doing it now is it works. It really works.
So this is the final year of the 4 before we go to 2 years of 12. Is this going to be a little bit of a test run, if you will, to look at 12?
People will look at 12. Y'all will, I know.
Yeah.
And other media will. I don't think the committee will. Maybe after the season.
from your perspective of going through a dry run before it really comes real next year.
The rankings will all be the same even next year. We ranked 25 this year, so we ranked that critical middle window from 10 to 16. We rank them and we work hard at it. So I don't think it's going to be any harder. People have said that to me. Oh, the committee's job is going to be so hard next year. It's not going to be any harder than it is this year, but there's going to be more scrutiny on that middle group, 10 to 16.
Yes.
And
so
remember, it's 6 conference champions plus the 6 at-large teams. So the conference champion, a lot of years we've done it. We look back over the last.
So the conference champion has 3 losses. He's still in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if he's in the top 6 conference champions. Yeah. He's in.
Okay, so it has to be the top. So how many conference?
There's 10.
There's 10 conferences.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
at the moment.
So there might be
one. What time is it?
No, I'm just saying. So much is changing. I mean,
so as far as have y'all gone back to back test it at all? Mm-hmm. What would happen? Has there been teams with 3 losses? I guess there hasn't.
Can't remember 3. I doubt there's been 3, but there's been teams that were ranked like 16, 17, which then would have meant number 12 wouldn't have made it in as an at-large team. So that has happened. And about half the time, the number 6 conference champion was not ranked in the top 12.
And they have to be in the top 12 to make it, or not?
No, just top 6.
Top 6.
Top
6 conferences are in.
Yep.
Top 6
champions. Yeah.
And that's by rank, right?
Mm-hmm. By the committee rankings.
So we have 2 years of 12. what's the probability, in your opinion, sir, of staying at 12 or maybe reeling it back to 8?
Oh, it'll stay at 12. Yeah, it's more. It's going to be more than 2 for 12. I don't know how many. I don't know how long. Nobody knows, but it's going to be 12 for a while.
Have the negotiations started with that next contract?
Just starting. I wouldn't say started, but I would say just starting. And there's going to be lots of interest. Obviously, the incumbent, it wants to keep this.
You would think.
ESPN. We like them. I've told you all that before. They do a great job with it. But there's other networks that are going to be interested. I can't talk about who they are, but we know they're interested.
So is it a possibility to be a combination?
I don't want the headline to say Hancock says it will be a combination, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was more than one network. Now, unlike the NFL, we only have 11 games in the new deal. We only have 11 games. The NFL has 100 and I don't know how many they have, 220 or whatever it is. So they call it tonnage in the TV world. They have a lot of tonnage. We have 11 tonnages.
Yeah.
Compared to 250. But I wouldn't surprise me if we had more than one network. But if ESPN comes in and they have a first right to look at it, and if they come in and make us a really nice offer, they might get the whole thing. But there's a lot of people, on the other hand, that think it'd be better to have more than one network, to have that network have the excitement of leading up to the playoff during the regular season. I get that. We'll see.
So as far as playing the second round at home also, that's not going to happen.
Not going to happen in 24 and 25, the first 2 years. Remember that we're committed to the bowl games for 24 and 25. We have contracts with them.
Gotcha.
So in 26,
who knows?
Who knows? I'm not hearing a lot of talk about not going to the bowl games. Here's what the bowls bring. They bring a great brand. They still bring a great expertise in how to manage games. And the bowls still, the brand of the bowls, participating in bowls still means a lot. And I don't know, you think about it, what if some team, well, it's going to happen in 2024. Some team's postseason football experience is going to be a one-night trip to Tuscaloosa. It's too bad, and it kind of breaks my heart to think about that, but that goes with the playoff. That's just part of it.
That would be the bad part of the playoff.
That'd be a bad part of the playoff. I mean, it would be an unfortunate part.
Not really.
But think about the experience.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they could go to Dreamland. I don't know. I'd take them out to the original. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. They're probably not a sponsor of y'all's. But
they're in Tuscaloosa, so
doesn't matter.
Yeah, my dad grew up like down the street from there. Right.
From original?
Yep.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah, we've been going there all our lives.
I love the banana pudding.
Yeah, it was hard not to. It's bananas and sugar.
Here he goes. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, that's cool. Your dad grew up down by the original. Was it there? I don't even know when it started.
Oh, yeah. It's been there all his life.
I think the 50s.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, what were we talking about?
I just heard banana pudding. That's all I heard. In terms of your time in basketball, how much did that help you during this kind of transition period from the BCS to the college football playoff?
It helped a lot. It helped a lot. We borrowed a lot from what we were doing in basketball. We learned a lot that we didn't want to do from what we knew about basketball. Yeah, it helped a lot.
What is the one thing you really didn't want to do?
Didn't want to be quite so. I don't want to say anything bad about them because I love the tournament. I love the way they operated and all. But they had the RPI, and that was really important to them. When I was there, it was. And they have the net.
Yeah, that's right.
And which is just a different version. We knew we didn't want to have that. For one thing, in football, you only got 12 games.
It's a computer.
It's a computer, and you don't have enough data putting in the computer. And basketball with 30 games, it makes a difference. So we knew we didn't want to do that. But we had the same kind of debate among the committee members that we had when I was in basketball. And I love the tournament. I think I told you, I've been to 44 Final Fours in a row. And so I'm going for 75. That's what I figure. Why not?
There you go.
It's only 31 more years.
Drop in the bucket.
We've had Coach Osborne on, and one of the early conversations we had was his regret for not standing up for TCU that first year.
That was a fascinating weekend. And I think everybody thought Baylor was better. And remember the Baylor-TCU game was a freaky, fluky game. Yeah, that was fascinating.
It really, I mean, since that there has certainly been storylines, but it felt like that was just a wild, crazy sequence that – because TCU went from 3 to 5?
3 to 6,
3 to 6.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Ohio State crushed Wisconsin.
That's right.
Right.
59-0.
That's right.
It was hard. We haven't had, if you look at the 9 years so far, we haven't had many really, really hard years, difficult years. We really haven't.
Other than that first one?
Other than the first one. And I probably just jinxed ourselves. We'll probably have a difficult one this year. But I don't want to downplay it, and I always feel bad about Team 5. I've told you that before. I always feel bad for Team 5.
Yeah.
I felt bad for Team 65 when I was doing the tournament. Team 13, or it's going to be actually Team 7th at-large team is going to get left out of this. Mm-hmm. I'm going to feel bad for them. But let me say this. That's a good thing because it's an event that people want to participate in. And if people are disappointed, I feel bad for them. But you know what? That's a good thing. That means we have a really good event.
So let's go back to the your models. No, I wish, yeah. I have to take a lot of medication before I eat food. Anyway, so you go back in your models, some teams get in at 17, right?
Conference
champions get in at 17. What was the lowest ranked team that missed it?
I don't think we ever had anybody miss it that was any lower than 12. I think 11 always got in.
Well, 17, yeah, so 12. So the 12th team would be ranked 12. That's they're on they could be on the cutting bar because of the conference championship part.
Yep.
So the conference championship is still the best way to get in.
You know what? I mean, win all your games is a pretty good way.
Yeah,
you really want to be a conference champion. And you want to be not only the what we call the autonomy 5, but you want to be a champion of the other 5. For the first time, you will automatically be in if you win your conference, if you're in that group.
But that doesn't affect your seeding, right?
No, it shouldn't. Well, like that 17, that team would have been seeded 12.
Right.
Clearly. Once the teams are in, then the committee will just seed them based on how they think they are. So, yeah, that wouldn't affect – they'll be seeded 12. They'll play 5 in the first round on campus.
When is your last day on the job?
January of 2025, so 18 months from now. And, there will be a new executive director chosen sometime, maybe late this fall. And so I hope, and I think our board hopes, there will be time that the two of us can work together. And I'll be looking forward to introducing him or her to y'all so you can put her on.
Well, y'all just want to go ahead and do it today.
Is it going to be Wes?
This is why, yeah.
That's why we're going to swap.
That's exactly right.
I'm with the program.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Do you have any more questions for Wes? He's thinking.
What did you do during July? Say you reported August 7th or whatever.
Yeah, I was a track star. No, so I used to ride a bike, set a car on campus, get used to the heat, and then we ran. I mean, we just worked out.
Did you stay on campus in the summer?
Oh yeah, you had to. You cannot do what they expect you to do to get you in shape at home. You can't do it. Tried it once, biggest mistake of my life.
Wow.
I mean, so 6 of us. We had a lot of people from Huntsville. There were 10 of us that were on scholarship from Huntsville. I mean, there's a bunch of us. I mean, and a lot of them were offensive linemen. So we tried and stayed home.
Going to get together and work out.
Yeah, no. The first day we ran, it was awful. I mean, all of us got sick. I mean, and we were sitting by each other, not feeling so hot. So we're not doing that again. So we all stayed the rest of the time.
So you got an apartment?
Yeah. So they'd kick you out of the Bryant Hall. Back then you had to live in the Bryant Hall. And we'd get an apartment in the summer. 1 year, all year, I would always go back to Bryant Hall as soon as this is so convenient. It's in campus, and it's just so convenient. And you get an apartment, you got to get furniture, you got to move it. Yeah.
Got to have food.
Yeah. Well, they always had we were on.
Well, they always had training table.
Yeah. So they'd give it to you in the summers. We'd go to Tutwiler and eat, which was pretty cool because that's where the cheerleader camp was.
Here we go.
I mean, hey, so we were the only males in there and cheerleaders.
They talked today about the way the starting date has moved up and would move up more if we ever went to week 0.
Yeah.
Which we need to talk about that on the next time we get together. But somebody said, well, the players have to come back so soon. And somebody said, they're already
there.
They're already there.
Yeah. So after most players now stay year-round. Even my last year, I just stayed at interim, which is 3 weeks, took a course. You have to take a course to be able to get on the meal plans and everything else. So you just can't go and not do anything. Now, you could work in the summers back then, and we'd all have little jobs for half a day.
Yeah,
cool. It was. You stayed busy. There's no doubt about that. I always took a job in the heat.
Smart.
We always appreciate your time, sir.
Smart. It's so much fun, guys. I hate to run, but I need to, and y'all got to do somebody more important than me.
No. He is
There's nobody more. You're the head dog still. You got 18 months.
Executive director.
Well, we're going to swap.
Yeah, that's the deal.
There's your breaking news. You heard him say it. The new executive director talking to the former executive director.
Well, love you guys. I love Huntsville, and it's really fun to talk.
Oh, man.
All right.
We love talking to you.
See you around.
So much.
Thank you, Bill. Let's take our first time out as we are winding down day 1 of SEC Media Days.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Ann Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road.
Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Back here on Radio Row. Who else is broadcasting? Taking a look around. I see one at the end. And, of course,
4.
Jimmy Himes, the retired individual, is also in Knoxville doing his Monday night golf show because, after all, that's what retired people do.
Right.
They
play golf.
work on Monday nights talking golf. And then, of course, you have us here as well, here along Radio Row. If you'd like to be a part of the program, we've been fairly busy for obvious reasons. Incidentally, coming up tomorrow. Let's see if I can't stall enough to tell you exactly who is tomorrow. It starts off with Vanderbilt bright and early tomorrow morning. Clark Lee will be in the main media room at 9:05 tomorrow morning. The Georgia Bulldogs, the two-time national champs, will be in town. I wonder what the subject will be about Georgia. The offseason has been clean and nothing to talk about there in Athens.
Wow.
The afternoon session will feature the Auburn Tigers, as well as first-year head coach Zach Arnett and Mississippi State. That ought to be interesting to hear from Coach Arnett tomorrow afternoon as well. So that is tomorrow, Vanderbilt, Georgia, Auburn, and Mississippi State.
Sad. Kind of Pirate not here.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. In fact, that is why Commissioner Sankey was not wearing a tie in honor of the Pirate. Yeah. Mike Leach. 256-576-4977 is the telephone number. Here we go. Jeff from the Borough. There's a big road cone over the entire city. Just answering your question. That's all I'm doing. He was by Radio Row today. So
he was right beside us just a little while ago. Yeah.
Anything else on your mind, sir? All right. Well, on that note, thank you very much for calling in, Jeff. I appreciate it. Let's talk to Bryce on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. How are you, Bryce?
Go ahead and say what you're going to say.
See, now you just can't say that, Bryce. Come on. What's on your mind? Oh, wow.
Oh, that's awesome. Happy birthday, Daddy. Uh-oh. Yeah, yeah, that's my son. Yes. His real name's Wesley. Yeah. Well, he's coached for Lane. Yeah. Before.
He was at FAU.
He was at FAU with Lane.
How many years was he at FAU?
2 years. He's a safeties coach for Ole Miss. Yes. Pete Golding. Yep. Yeah, he is a.
Golly.
Oh, no question. Yes. Right. No, he's such a, he has 4 of my grandchildren, so that's what's more important. 8, working on 9. 1 in the oven. I bet she's not spoiled. They do, yeah.
Now,
yes, they are.
SEC Media Days will be in Dallas.
We are working on it as we speak to figure out what we're going to do to get everybody there.
Yeah. No, it'll be in a hotel.
Yeah, it's going to be at the Omni in downtown Dallas. Yeah. No, he's down the street. He's at Louisiana, University of Louisiana Lafayette.
You can't say that anymore.
No, they don't. Lafayette. They don't like it.
It's Louisiana. University of Louisiana.
Yeah, but it's in Lafayette.
Yeah. Located.
Yeah. Yes. No, I have 3. I have 3, but only 2 coaching. Yes. Yeah. Well, I thought Jimbo did a good job.
I thought he did
he's
too.
still Jimbo, but I thought he did a good job in the media room. I think you and Drew asked the 2 best questions.
Didn't hear a whole lot of Drinkowitz, to be honest with you, but if any. Drew's probably sleeping.
No. Oh, he said, what did Drew ask?
Oh, yeah. Drew. Well, hang on.
He's so ready to throw Drew onto the table, though.
You better believe it. You better believe it.
Why is he sleeping, Steve?
You wonder why?
Yeah.
Straight in the hat.
Coach Fisher, Drew DeArmond, WZZN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. You've been a head coach in Power 5 for over a decade. You've won championships. Every year, chemistry is different on a football team. There's high expectations at A&M. You didn't meet them last year. As a staff, when you guys self-assessed, what do you do this year to kind of make sure the chemistry is different and that this football team meets expectations?
That is the question from Drew DeArmond. Better question than answer, honestly. Only one way to find out.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch.
Thank you, Bryce. I appreciate the phone call. We are right up against a break. We have some breaking news. Breaking news from the Southeastern Conference that involves Tom Abraham on the other side of our final timeout. We'll be back.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Ann Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road,
Hathaway
or
Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Thank you. Winding down day one of SEC Media Days. Scott Tyson, this is 24 Media Days. 24 or 23? This may be 23. For me, that would make this 22. For Tom Abraham, that this is potentially...
Congratulations to the Tom Abraham Show, celebrating 20 consecutive trips to SEC Media Days. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
So the problem with that liner, I have in my hand right here, if you're watching on WZZN TV, is the Kickoff Media Days Media Information Guide. And it tells you by appearances all-time coaches at SEC Football Media Days, to which it says down in the corner, did not attend 2020 Media Days due to COVID, did not count for any of the coaches because they did not attend Media Days. So clearly Tom Abraham's on number 19 and not 20.
Who cares?
Tom Abraham.
No, he doesn't care.
Come on now. Help me out here.
Let me ask you a question. Is he the one on the air right now trying to dog him, throwing things up? No. So I'm witnessing what I'm witnessing here.
The most appearances by one coach.
Scott has more appearances.
Oh yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
100%.
though he's on the radio now, he has more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most appearances by a coach at a single institution. Philip Fulmer from the University of Tennessee, which he could have still had the record had he shown up in 04 when he did not show up at SEC Media Days down in Hoover instead.
Still on probation.
That's right. Also, 15 appearances at a single institution. Mark Richt at the University of Georgia.
Nice guy.
Coming up on Wednesday, there'll be a new leader in the clubhouse.
Nick Saban.
No,
he's leaving to go to Texas, I think, tomorrow.
He's going to Austin.
Yeah. He'll never stay.
So there'll be a new leader in the clubhouse. By the way, Jackie Sherrill, he had 13 appearances. Les Miles had 12 appearances. And Steve Spurrier as well. 12 appearances at a single institution.
Doesn't happen much, does it?
It really doesn't.
Can't get past that 5 years and win your conference, you got a shot.
Really looking forward to Auburn tomorrow. No doubt that we'll get our fair share of
I'm looking forward
Auburn
to seeing
players.
What Auburn. My concern with Auburn is they got they have a bunch of group of 5 offensive linemen going against a weak defensive lineman, which they say is the biggest problem at Auburn. Going to be interesting to see how that translates to wins. He'll win at Auburn before it's over, though, because he's going to outwork everybody.
So, by the way, Hugh Freeze.
And he has a lot to prove.
He does.
He really does.
Hugh Freeze will be in the main media room at 1 o'clock tomorrow. We'll carry that for you live right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. It'll start bright and early tomorrow morning. Clark Lee will be in the main media room from Vanderbilt at 9:05. I'm sure the boys in the morning will give you a little splash of Commodores since we are in the Music City. And the Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart, he will be in the main media room at 10:30 tomorrow as well. That'll wrap us up. Thank you for listening and watching as well. We'll talk